right, y'all. Good afternoon. Let me see what Facebook got going on. It's still tossing and turning. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. First, I want to apologize for my tardiness. I could not get my computer to do what I needed it to do, but it is working now. Hell, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, so I will just talk to y'all. First, I want to say hello, good afternoon. My name is Marian of Emmteenestlogistics. Well, yeah, Emmteenestlogistics and more. I say that because there's a lot that has happened to me and for me in this first quarter, and I just want to talk to you all about it today. I know you all saw when I said, oh, and not only did I have a problem getting on, please forgive my smoke alarm because it has decided that it wanted to be in the video and be a bit unruly today, and I'm going to have my husband take care of that as soon as he gets home because it's unacceptable. So let me see. Oh, I put some lotion on my face. Lotion on my face. Lotion on my mouth area. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So anyway, I wanted to come on and recap this first quarter. So for those of you who are on my Facebook business page and in my Facebook group, you all know how this started, and some of you who are on my Instagram now. What I'm doing now came about because when I was trying to get started as an independent dispatcher, I took some courses. Well, my first course was, a broker course. And I took that through a company. They don't fool with me anymore, so I don't have any more props for that name because this company I really appreciated. And they came at me real ugly, and I don't holler, shout them out no more. And they were my all in all. If you knew me from the beginning, you knew this company was my get. But anyway, and thank God for it because he had other plans for me. So I took a broker course first. In that broker course, I realized that this doesn't make any sense to me. This is not going to work for me because I don't see how I can do these things that they're saying needs to be done. And I don't know anybody in the industry. Now, at that point, I wasn't as educated or versed on these things as I am now. So right after that, I took the course last year, February 28th. And then the following week, I think I started like March 2nd, I took the same companies. I took a $99 online dispatcher course with them. Well, you get what you pay for. So the course, it had a lot of things that I already had done. So let me say this also, because I'm going to go somewhere with it. I'm going to bring it back around in a little bit. I was in customer service, over 24 years. In customer service, I did all types of things. I never was the janitor, but from front desk all the way up to the managerial area. So everything in between, little HR, recruiting. So all of those things were mine. They were who I was for this long time, and I brought those things with me to my company. So this is why I had the foresight when I was taking that broker course to know that this is not how this goes. There's some steps that you need to take in order for me. I'll equate it like this for those who are still in corporate, who come from corporate. For me, I am the type of person that if I come to a company, I don't want to start off, or especially if I haven't done it before, I don't want to start off in management. Let me be of service and in service first. And that way I can fairly and properly operate and be, in leadership for others. So that's how I live. That's how I operate. And those who are in the group, they can attest to it, the way that I move. So I took the dispatcher course. It was a whole lot of, this is how you get your LLC, this is what you do. It was real basic. And I owned a business before, so I already had that part done, and I had already done that part. And there was just a couple of things in there. Now, I won't say that it was useless, but I won't say that it was useful. But again, it was $99. Now, hold that thought on the $99, because just because something is $99 doesn't mean that it is not going to give you anything that you need. It just didn't give me all that I needed. Just like $1,100 something may be scammy or not give you what it is that you need in its entirety, but you got it because it was high ticket or it was name brand. But when you got it and you found out it just wasn't what it was. So I don't not prices, get to know people. I'm the type of person, this is just a little snippet. I'm the type of person that I spend with who I feel. If I want to spend with you, how I feel towards you, because our interactions, whether people realize it or not, is from how we feel about the person. We get emotionally connected with people. If I'm holier than thou and that type of thing, I'm going to gear and spend my money towards somebody where I want to say amen. If I hoop and holler and cuss and I'm real, ratchet at all times, I'm going to gravitate towards somebody who living that type of life. That's who I'm gonna spend with. That's who I want to chill with. That's how we do. And in my older, as I get older, I realize now I get to decide where my dollars go and who I want to spend with. So anyway, I took it and it did lead me in a direction of research. So that was February of last year. So I began, that's when the pandemic and everything happened. So I was doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, but I was researching. When I started to try to start my business for the first time, all of these things were happening, and I couldn't get a carrier at the time. And it had to be before the box truck boom. And I call it the box truck boom because as we see, everybody's getting one. They all need dispatchers. I don't knock it. You'll hear me say this more times, but I'm a box truck advocate. I don't knock you. I don't knock your hustle, because I had one, and it was the most one might say difficult, but I endured that thing. I got up every day and I did what I needed to do, and in 43 days they were able to see almost 21 grand in profit. So it can be done. So writing a book about it, I'll tell y'all about it. So how you can do it and how it can be done. I was researching and I was driving. I was out there feeding the truckers. I was making posts on not the truckers, feeding the drivers, the carriers, the owner operators. I was making posts on my page where I was out. I was putting on my page, if you see a driver, get food for them, because the people at the restaurants didn't want to let them. They had the doors closed and they didn't want to let them come inside. And if you look at like the beginning of my page, you'll see that where I was out there doing it. I was doing Uber Eats and DoorDash, delivering to the carriers that got to park their truck in the parking lots. Like, I was out here, but that was the ministry for me at the time. I could not get a carrier at the time. However, that did not mean I could not be of service. So I was out there. I was on my essential stuff, and it was essential to me that they ate, because they were the ones still moving while everybody else was getting what they need. So I was out there advocating for them, because I believe that strongly. So that's what I was doing. Fresh in the business, but that's, my ministry. That's what I was called to do for the time. So things began to, they were still moving, but it wasn't moving enough for me. I didn't have a carrier yet. Now this is from February. I'm out here advocating all the way, I think, until February, March, April, May. Till about May. Hey, Lulu. Hey, Felice. Did I say hey, Sante? Hey, Latoya. So that's what I was out there doing. So it started getting worse. And my husband was like, you got to get from out of there on them Uber Eats, DoorDash, ship streets. Because I was doing ship too. So I ended up getting a job in May, a work from home position. I was working for a company you all know. They don't endorse me either, so I won't be calling their name. See, I'm out here learning some stuff. And so I was doing that, and I was looking for carriers. So I realized really quickly that when I got my first carriers, when I started, it was in July, when I said I'm going to start getting a carrier because I got to leave this job. time. Speaking of leaving your job, I wanted to do this for a long time, and I worked my way out of a job, and I'll have that as a whole nother situation. It'll be about 10 minutes long, and that'll be that. But anyway, I decided, I was to the point where I'm over this job, and I'm making the least that I can make, and I think I can make this with a carrier. So I set out to get a carrier. I saw a YouTube video. This guy was on there because I still, even though I had all of this information from months and months of researching on my own, I did not know where to apply the information. I did not know what to do with it. So I was like, I got all of this, what I think is useless knowledge, but when I got into it. So I was on YouTube one day and I was watching this guy. He was just being himself. He was a kind of, a hood dude. But he gave me what I needed, like in 30 seconds to like 3 minutes when I watched him. He was talking about dispatchers and how he had one and how she didn't do him right. And he also said that he does it himself, and he was telling us what he does. And he also reiterated that if you get yourself a good dispatcher, keep them. It's just, he was saying the one that he had wasn't about nothing, and she was too busy trying to get some peen, and he wasn't on that. So he one day was talking to a shipper and had his own conversation and started doing it on his own. So he was talking about it. So that was breakthrough one. And then I commented under there and I told him, you know what, thank you so much. I've been trying to do, and this is going to be my livelihood, and this is going to, set my family for what it needs to be done. Now, this is on some outside looking in information, but I believed. Okay. So he was like, you know what? Thank you. You're welcome. Post your information here. I'm going to shout you out. I'm going to get you some carriers. I'm going to help you out, sister. So he did that, and there was a lady on there. She reached out to me. Her name was Angie. Angie was like, I'll help you. Monday when I get on with my carriers, get up and be with me. I'll be on there at 7 o'clock. I'm going to show you how it's done. So Angie, I got on there with Angie. Probably in about 15 minutes, I knew what to do. Because you got to remember, I come from 24 years of service. So I had that part. Anything got to do with the phone and information on lock. What I didn't know was how to approach what you do in your everyday style. Although since then I've created my own styles and put my own ways, she allowed me to see how her morning goes, which allowed me to see how mine, how I want to structure mine. So that was it. It was a wrap. I went back on with her for like maybe the next day, for like maybe 2 days, because I was off at that job on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I did like Monday and Tuesday with her. And then by Tuesday when I got on there with her, I was making calls for her. I was finding loads, for her carriers for her. But I wasn't doing all the office work. Like I wasn't booking them and doing the rate con and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to move y'all as fast as I can. We're helping y'all get the point. So I did that, and then I got my first carrier, which was a hot shot. And then they were easy. They were smooth. The husband had been a truck driver for 30 years, and the wife had been a truck driver herself. And I ran them. Things went well. I posted pictures of the loads that I got for them because they were, they knew that I was new, and they worked with me. And I was also at the same time teaching the wife how to dispatch because she was going to be dispatching her husband, but they paid me. So it was an experience. And all was well. And she sent me an email not too long back and said, hey, I accidentally sent her an email trying to find something else, and then she wrote me back and was like, I'm gonna call you. Then she called me. She was like, hey, how you doing? Whoop whoop whoop. And I was telling her, I left. She was like, you left the job. That's all I was waiting on you to do. But at this point, I had my other carrier and I was doing my thing. Lulu, send an invite and come back in. Inactivity probably removed a lot of people. I'm not sure. But if there's anybody on here who was watching who used to be on there and you want to come back, I'm cool with that. I don't act like that about certain things. I don't block you and all that kind of stuff. But y'all know how I feel about inactivity. If you're not being fed someplace, don't sit there. So send the invite and I'll bring you back in. So I got them. I worked with them for a little bit, and then I got I realized quickly I needed to leave the job because the job that I had was customer service. Well, if you are in this or you're coming into this, you need to know that you can't answer nobody else's phone and try to operate and work with a carrier. Because when those loads come available or when you need to call on it, you need to move quickly. You don't have time to be on them people job, answering them people phone where they pay you and try to do it. When you're doing, you need to have time to cold call. You got to be on the phone. You don't have time to work for nobody else. And in my case, with my carrier, which was my box truck, who I got next, my box truck who I got, I didn't have time to sit and look at a load board because it wasn't working out for them. I actually had to make calls and go off grid and go outside and find things for them to do to keep that truck rolling for that first time. So, which is why I am an advocate, and I don't knock nobody who got a box truck, and I will show you how to run a box truck, because quiet as it's kept, but not too quiet. They are here, they are coming, and they're going to be here. So I'm not the one that tell you got to get a fleet of them, but you ain't going to be able to avoid them forever, especially when you're looking for somebody. So that's why I'm going to be writing and talking to y'all and telling y'all how to run them, and how I help my carrier make almost 21 grand, like I said, in 43 days. I had to think outside the box. I had to go outside the house. I had to do some things in order to do what I needed to do, but I was determined, and I knew that it can be done, and it was done. So I got that done. I got the second one. They, like I said, it was a non-CDL, new authority, 24-foot box truck, and I had to work, but it got done. So that's just some of the things. But I want to talk about my first quarter. Hey, Benita, my first quarter. Like I said, when I came into this, I knew I could do it. I wanted to do it. I had prepared for it, but I had not prepared for the things that it involved, because nobody really tells you all in all. But I do. So in my first quarter, I have learned. So I started this group. I started the group because of how I felt and how I couldn't get anybody to help me. And I said that those independent dispatchers who come behind me will not have to deal with some of the things that I had to do, and they won't have to deal with that. And in this group, I will give out free information on what people need to do. In this group, I will not allow people to come in here and worship other people that they think are so great and that they think are name brand and that everybody think is so outstanding, because some of these people I had experiences with, and some of these people I watched how they did other people. So in here, you won't be talking about, oh, such and such is the best, that's who you need to go to, that's who. It ain't happening here. What is happening here is education, free information, and a preview of what goes on when you want to become an independent dispatcher, when you want to become an owner, operator, or carrier, and when you want to become a freight broker. That's what's here. So you come here, you ask your questions, you look around, you get your information, and then you can decide who you want to take a training class with, because your favorite is still going to be your favorite. But what I'm offering here is the opportunity for you to preview what you should be learning and what you want to know and what you need to find out in order to effectively run your business. So that's another reason why your favorites are not welcome here, because we're not here to promote them. And I also realize in growing that there are a lot of people who have taken courses other places and they realize that they did not get what they need. Well, guess what? Come on into the store. Come on into where you can get what you need, because I'm not going to be one that leaves those who work beside me and do what I'm doing and want to do what I'm doing. I'm not going to leave them on the battlefield by themselves. We're going to fight together. We're going to move together. We're going to restore together. That's what we're going to do in here. That's what we're going to do in dispatch conversations in education. That's what we're going to do. So, in this time, so when I created this group, because I'm going somewhere, y'all, I'm teaching y'all about how business has run, and you all will see some of the things that you're going to encounter when you begin to scale. So when I created the group, it was going to be free. Everybody's going to get all of this free information. Ain't nobody going to be done like I'm doing. Now, let me pause right there. When we say things and we do things, we operate from the place of where we have reached. So at that point, that was the pinnacle of what I knew. So I just felt like, okay, all right. So the free information is there. The group is rolling. The people are coming in. So I learned rather quickly what I needed and what other people were going to need too. So I brought the me who I was into my business. I said, you know what? I love being on the phone. I don't care nothing about cold calling. I know how to get around a rebuttal. This is what I've been doing for 20 something years. I'm all here for it. So I'm going to create a service and I'm going to provide that service for pay. That's what you're going to pay me to do. I'm going to make all of your cold calls for you, and I'm going to call it knock the chill off cold calling services. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the leads, I'm going to call them, and I'm going to interview them, and you're going to pay me to find them for you. And when I give them to you, all you got to do is work it. You don't got to call them. You don't got to do no calling. I done made it hot. All you got to do is get your money and start working for them. Okay, that went. In this time, I not only was providing the information, but I was on here giving you all the information of what I know. Some call it teaching. I called it conversations, because I would have conversations about everyday life in this industry and what we doing and how we running it. And, and I also talk all the time how important the relationship is between an independent dispatcher, a carrier owner operator, and a broker. With the carrier owner operator of a box truck and Hey Mary and independent dispatchers, we are the most disrespected and the most hated in this industry. I don't know what it is. Well, yes, I do. Because when I started, I was in 5011 groups trying to get information. Before I started my group, I was in many groups, and I always wanted to offer information. Excuse me, and I always answered questions because I knew a lot of things, which would draw people to me. But it was also a double-edged sword, because some of the information that I would offer, it would get deleted, and I would get the owners of the group coming in my inbox saying, you shouldn't be saying that, you shouldn't be telling people that, you need to sell that, we sell that, sell. Well, myself, I don't know about nobody else, but all the examples are going to be about me, because I know me, I know what happened to me, and I can speak for me. So I have been in a place of lack where I couldn't afford to buy everything. I couldn't afford to have everything. So in the group that I created, I began, giving information, and people began to request me to teach. Well, I was so in the mindset of, who am I? No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to just tell y'all. And they were like, no, you're going to allow us to pay you, and you're going to teach us. Around this time, I met up with a broker. We're now partners. And I partnered with him after the requests became so heavy. And there was one person that came to me. She came in my inbox when I used to have an inbox. And that's another thing that's when you grow in business. What you do as just a regular person and nobody's looking for you or nothing is fine. But when you start to do different things and people start to bring their stuff on you, it starts to mess with your mental. And anything that disturbs your peace, get rid of it. So I got rid of my inbox, because I have this whole group where we can ask and we can come together and we can all learn together. Yet I still have people that were circling and were trying to come through the back door. And me having the kind of heart that I am, I found myself spending a whole lot of time, hey Tashalyn, working with these people. And then in the request for people saying, they wanted me to teach them, which I still call it conversations. Although we have that now, it's $350. And if anybody who has taken it, they can tell you that it's worth more. But again, I am a cost-effective lady, and that is the introductory pricing, and that's what's happening. That's where I was at with it. So, and in turn, with all those inboxes, I came to find out that what I was doing was actually dispatching consultation. So I have that now as well. But these are things that grew and were requested. See, this is the thing. When I came into this, I wasn't about no money. Still ain't. But now I'm understanding things due to the people. I never asked anybody for money. I never schemed up on anybody. I never did any of that kind of thing. I let the Lord use me. I took the information that I knew and I provided it to the people. And in return, I reaped what I sowed. And I reaped where I sold. I sold into this group. And I reaped. And I'm reaping out of this group. That's a word right there. I think I said it at the beginning, but I might not have. But sometimes I come on here to talk to y'all. Sometimes it turns into education. Sometimes it turns into a spiritual situation. However the wind blows and however the spirit moves, that's what I do. That's how it goes. So I reaped. I sold. I sold into my group. I sold into my group with my heart. I sold into my group with passion. And this is another thing that you'll hear me say if you know me. If you don't, you're going to hear me say it quite often. If you operate in purpose, and you're passionate about your purpose, money will chase you down. Good things will chase you down. People will chase you down. Things that you need will be drawn. Law of attraction, they might call it. I sold into and I reaped out of, and I'm continuing to reap and grow. So when I started, I thought everything was going to be free. So as I grew, and then I got into a partnership. Let's talk about the partnership, because all of these things I'm going to talk about me, but they're going to at some point be you. So as I grew, and as I got the request for that, I got in partnership with somebody who had been in it for a while, and they were now a broker. So we had a conversation. This is how I knew I was true, a little business woman. I had a little more savvy than I knew. I was a little unfamiliar in some areas, but along came someone. Now let me stop right here just for a moment, because y'all see me. I'm melanated, is unapologetically black. That's me. But my understanding is that everyone needs to learn. Everyone needs to be in partnership and network, because we got to be able to get into some places, some access to some places and some things that we got to get to. So it just so happened that the company that I'm in partnership, they are white. They are white. Well, you know how we do, our kin. All kinfolk, all skinfolk ain't kinfolk, kinfolk ain't skinfolk. You hear me? So I got into the partnership. I stated my things, what I wanted, how they'd ask me what I wanted. They didn't ask me how much. See, this is the thing about us. I see something for you. I see you doing something good. So for a piece of change, I can do. But did you not hear me all the time say, I ain't got no money? All I got is the Lord. All I got is faith. All I got is belief. All I got is work ethic. All I got, that's what I got. You hear me? That's what I got. That's what I got. Now, understand this and hear me well. A little bartering ain't never hurt nobody. I'm all for it. The barter, that's me. Barter. I'm here for it. But you know how we do. So I got in partnership. All is well. Y'all still see me. I ain't go nowhere. I ain't flipped the script. I didn't none of that. As I progressed, I came into the service that I was telling y'all about. I provided the service. Well, the service, because we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about my first quarter. My first quarter. Because this is going to be some of you all at some point as you begin to grow, as you begin to scale. We got to talk about it. So I provided the service. I said, my people need this. Not my people as in melanated, my people who are in the industry, the independent dispatchers. It originally was going to be for the independent dispatchers and the freight brokers. But at the time, I didn't know that the conversation needed to be different, and how you operate concerning getting a shipper is very different from getting a carrier. So I had to put that on the shelf, but best believe I'm getting some learning about it. So I presented the idea, I put it out there, I put the price on it, I put the stipulations on what it was going to be. Boom. Well, let's talk about group growth. I started letting people in the group, Then I came to find out that some of the people that I had let into the group, and I'm going to reverse this, but this is at the time. I'm going somewhere. I'm telling y'all how my first quarter has gone. I was letting people in the group because I believed that this was a safe space. I believed that this was a space that people can come in and get what they needed. The wounded can be healed. The lukewarm can make a decision. These types of things. I'm not sure why Instagram over here going dark, but the enemy stay busy, but the light's still gonna shine, So I began to let people in. I had admins. I thought, I was strategic with that. I said the admins that I'm going to have, they're going to be able to do something. I had Tasha Lynn, you lagging? I'm sorry, Suge. We're going to have, we had one that was, he was a carrier. He had several, he had a fleet. And then we had another lady, she was, she's still here. She did credit. So she could tell you what to do to get your credit, to help your personal credit, which in turn helps your business credit. Told you how to get business credit down there to the bank. Told us as dispatchers and everybody what to sign up for so we can start building business credit. Get your U-Lean, get your gas cards, the things. And then I had somebody else that was that did the taxes. And then I had somebody else who she dispatched, but she also knew compliance. I call myself done. did the darn thing. And then then I got the broker, and then I got me, I'm currently dispatching. I'm all things independent dispatcher. Hey, we here, we her. Okay. So again, we rolling, we going. So I began to let people in. I didn't care where they came from. I didn't care whose course they took. Come on in. Because I'm thinking what we got here, everybody can use. This is what I think in my mind. This is what I think. So then I began to see all of the 5011 groups that we in, because we can't get around that. We were all in the same 5011 groups. So we all see what each other doing. Now, I'm not no name brand. I'm not a household name. I just am who I am. I am whose I am. And I'm walking in obedience. So I myself began to see other 5011 groups start to try to operate like I'm operating in mine. Well, to me, in my mind, that's what I'm here for. The change. To see the change. But what I did not know is they were trying to get a little change from what they see in somebody's. This is the thing. There's a lot of copycats. There's a lot of people. Let me tell you about my group. There's a lot of people in there. I know exactly where they came from. They told me where they came from before entry. But let me tell you one thing about what's mine. And I'm going to tell you one thing about what's yours and what's his and what's hers and what's theirs. What's for you is going to be for you. Huh? Because there's one thing about the thing that's mine. Only I can activate it like it should be activated. Only I can execute it like it should be executed. Because there's one thing about the formula. It only belongs to the originator. That's him. I don't know the formula. I just know what I'm instructed to do, and that's what I do. Okay? So people began to come in. People began to take. People began to try to do the things that I'm doing. They try to say the things that I'm saying, but they're not getting what needs to be done. Because the formula, is still his. See, he changes and drops, adds, subtract, multiplies, divide where he see fit. And when he get done doing what he needs to do with that, then he drops it in me. And then he tells me whether or not I need to write it down, whether or not I need to speak it, what action I need to take on it. So there's never going to be anything anybody can take from me. Because if it can be taken, it was never mine. Ooh, that's good right there. That's good. So that has happened. Then I began to have people. I started putting up the posts because I saw that the activity, because see, this is one thing about me. We need to get what we need to get. And I'm not here for no quantity over quality. Because when quantity exceeds quality, that means the people aren't being fed. Because you begin to get lost. So that's why you all will see me periodically say, hey, who's here? What's going on? Every 72 hours, I'm clearing it out. But I stopped that. Let me tell you why. Because when I got to the point, okay, let's move forward. So I had given all that was free. Everybody that I asked to give what to help me, because y'all know the team that I told y'all I had. And I also told you before that I ain't got no money. So I said, team, look at here. You got what I need. I prayed first. I said, Lord, I need this is what I need. And my bank account better than the bankers, because it's deposits. I'm getting deposited into by you. You deposited into me, Hallelujah. However, the tangible coinage has not been moving yet. But that's all right, because I believe it. I know it's coming. And the people came and brought it to me. Told me I was going to do it. Baby came through by the name of Rakina. Rakina said, I need you to teach. I said, no, baby, I don't do that. Rakina said, can you please teach? I said, baby, stop begging. I don't do that. I don't do that. Now I'm going to come on here and I'm going to give y'all this information for the free. Baby, that baby came in my inbox and shook my spirit. You hear me? That baby came in my inbox and simply said, listen, I know that you're refusing what I'm asking you to do. But if I could ask you one thing, it's Just go in your closet and see what the Lord got to say about it. Baby, let me tell you, I didn't sleep for 48 hours when she dropped that on me. You hear me? And in that time, baby, let me tell you, I don't know who you believe in. Let me tell you this right here. You probably figured out how I roll by the way I'm speaking by now. But whatever you believe in, if it's nothing, believe in it wholeheartedly. If it's Buddha, if it's Allah, if it's Jesus, if it's shoes, whatever you believe in it, believe it wholeheartedly and take it with you and watch it move for you. Let me tell you, I got up. I had been wearing my hair wrapped up. I had it in a wrap thing for like days. I got up. The Spirit said, you need to wash your hair. You need to wash your hair. I done got to crying. I said, I don't want to wash my hair. I already took a bath. You know sometimes some of us, we want to tell our conscious, subconscious, whatever you want to call it, God, whatever, the earth, the manifest, the atmosphere, we want to tell it what we want to do. All out the same mouth and out the same breath, or we done said what we want. So anyway, I said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to get on this live and I'm going to, baby, I got shook. I got to cry. I went in there and washed my hair. Baby, the more I penetrated that scalp, the more the ideas flowed. The more I was ready. The more I was moved. The more I cried. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen in your life, but I'm going to tell you some things that's going to shape when you get ready to scale up, move up, lateral, diagonal, whatever it is that you're going to do. Some things that's going to move, that's going to shape. So I got myself together. And I said, thank you, Lord. By the time I got through washing my hair, I had a whole sermon. Some of y'all saw it. I think I probably had on this shirt. No, I had on Uncle Clifford because there wasn't no crying at the pink and I hadn't been crying. So anyway, I moved. I got it together. I said, okay. I got in the partnership. I had the conversation with me. Got the agreement together. This is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. I don't know nothing about doing it. And I don't have no team, but I know there's going to be some work and I know that I need to be done. Boom. Said it. Said it and forget it. Did it. Presented it. Boom. Said it. Did it. Came out with the partnership. Oh, boom. Everything was all right. Still was free. All was well. The class was, I came up with the pricing for the class because I am, if you don't know, I am a cost-effective person. I don't have a whole lot of coinage. You hear me? And I knew that I was around some people that probably didn't either. And if they didn't, this is going to be our starting point. I came with all the services that I was going to offer, that I was going to do. I asked the people about how much they fit because I wasn't familiar with charging for stuff and how much I should put on there, because I'm going to tell you this. I come from a place of lack. And if you got to ask for something, everybody got to talk about you. Say you had to borrow it. Say you needed them. Then if I would have came out with something that people felt like was too high, then I had to, in my mind, the backlash of, now she went from not wanting to say nothing, not wanting to do nothing, now she thinks she's supposed to. It was a little bit fearful because that wasn't an area that I was familiar with. So anyway, I came up with the pricing, $350. Let me tell you something. That baby who told me to go in that closet, she was in that first class. So not only did the people request, they have been supporting their request since January. They asked for it. I asked God to help me do it. It has come forth and the people have been coming to class. Added on to it, the consultations. People who needed consultations, they were getting the consultations. I had knocked the chill off. I had to knock the chill off the table and shelf it because there were people who wanted to take advantage of it and want to try to operate and do stuff and manipulate things without you knowing. That's why I haven't said it in a minute, but no one in here should be in anyone's inbox. No, not one. You can answer all the questions till you get tired. And if that person says, hey, can I come to your inbox? That's your business. Whatever happens in there is no fault of the group, because let me tell you something. If I don't post their name and say that you need to work with them, I'm not responsible, and I'm not telling you that that's the one for you. So don't let nobody use the organic trust that has been built in this group to try to fool you. Nobody should be saying, I can help you. You give me, you get 60% of what you do, and I'm going to get 40 because I'm helping you. This is your business. And if you're going to be doing 100% of the work, you better be getting 100% of the profit. And if you can't get what you need without having to get that kind of deal, Do you need to come in this group and you need to ask a question? Or you need to get yourself in one of these classes, or you need to get yourself a consultation? You need to be in position to put your money where you need it and where you choose to put it, and not be deboed into what you, listen, this ain't the whole stroll. Huh? The group is not the whole stroll. Ain't nobody in here looking for no pimp. It's enough schemes and scams and all of that kind of stuff out here. It's running rampant and it's bold. It's in your face. Huh? So that's where we are with that. So there are some that I have seen in these groups. This is how I know I'm covered. I've seen some people in these groups get straight tore down. You hear me? They come on there. They've been talking about oh, hey, Benita. Benita, girl. They come on here. I'm going to leave you alone right now. They come in these groups and we all see them. They've been 24 hours. They've been a dispatcher. They asking questions. In 72 hours, they got a course. I have seen these people in these groups eat these people alive. You were just in here asking questions. You were just in here. What were your credentials? Let me get your receipts. Let me tell y'all something, how I know I'm covered. Nobody has done me like that. Nobody. Let me tell you why. The people move me. See, I didn't elevate myself. I didn't scale myself. I came, I did what I said I was going to do. I sowed, and the harvest is growing. The reap is happening. Now, don't get it twisted. Y'all still see me, I'm still in my same basement. I got a few little things because I'm finna do a couple of little things because I'm about to go ahead and do what I'm been called to do. So I got 2 other things outside of this group coming up, and I'll just tell y'all about them, but I'm not gonna harp on them because they don't have nothing to do with this. But I got a podcast coming, and the podcast is called Never Wanna Be Before You're Long. Huh? So you can get into that. And then I do something that's called Cross the Street Ministries. But it ain't as churchy as you think it's going to be. This is the part that people don't want to talk about at the church. So that's coming. But that's my other things that I'm doing. These are things that God has given me that I've been walking in disobedience about, but the time is over. Huh? So, we're moving. Excuse me. It's going. So people, now at this point, people have taken. My feelings I got hurt. But I'm learning that emotions, friendships, friendly, and business don't go together. So taking it personal is out of the question. So I won't be deleting, I won't be blocking, or none of that kind of stuff, or out of feelings. These are the things that will get you removed and blocked. You know what we have going on in here. Huh? You know what I'm building in here. Some of you know what I was building in here before I knew that it was something that was being built. Before I knew that this was a platform and all of these words that, people got going on. I came in here from thus saith the Lord. This is what I was led to do. And I'm glad I walked in obedience because he knew better than y'all knew. So, first quarter of business. The group opened. The information was given. People took from me. I added everything free that I could give. When I got to the point where there was nothing else to give free, because y'all know I'm getting the good, the bad, and the ugly. And a lot of this has been half and half already and teeter-tottering. So I gave everything that I could for free. So I knocked the chill off because people were trying to take advantage of it and get more and scheming up on each other and trying to, undermine each other and all that kind of stuff. So I took it off the table. And at first there was a few people I was still going to look for, but then it got too time consuming for the specifics, and then it's not the season. So I just went ahead. Everybody should be refunded by now. Let me tell y'all one thing about me. I don't come from no money. I ain't had no money. So anytime you all pay for something and it goes into my business account, I don't touch it because I still have this fear of not being able to pay. And if something happens and you want to do the fool with me, or I feel like what you're trying to do is not on the up and up, I'm going to refund you. And I need to have that there. Because what you won't say about me is she ain't have my money, or she couldn't even afford to do. Some stuff I'm still got a little trauma. Just a little, I don't quite grasp yet how to have a couple of more zeros in my account. So I don't do that. I don't do it yet. I'm not mentally capable of taking me a little something yet, because I need to make sure that it's really mine and that you're really not going to come and take it back. And you really not going to do that. So I'm working on it. But let me tell you. So this is all has happened in this first quarter. So I got to a point where people were I started saying, let me get back to my point, where you need to be active. If you're here, you need to be asking questions. You know what's really going on. Why am I continuing to say this message, but I got people in my inbox wanting to ask these questions? So the inbox started messing with my peace, because I found myself just still answering questions and stuff. And then, I had a couple people say, they couldn't really talk how they wanted to because of some of the people in the group. But, all right. But I still ended up closing mine, and I said, Brandon, that's my partner. I say, hey, Brandon, the people are kind of going to talk to you. And then out of nowhere, I saw Brandon post a message and say, if anybody don't feel comfortable about A, B, C, and D, and if they feel because these people are in here and you scared to talk, when I tell y'all that blew my natural edges back, because here I am thinking that there is a space that I've created and everybody should be able to come here and talk, and everybody, but only to find out that the people was in here, but they were still in bondage. Pharaoh hadn't let them people go. And here I am in here talking about, hey, ask your questions here. Why ain't nobody talking here? Let me tell y'all something. Listen to me, and listen to me good. No weapon. That means no man, woman, boy, girl, car, bus, plane, train, car, shoe, knife, gun, nothing should have you so fearful that you can't get what you need in order to prosper your life, because you are afraid of what somebody might go back and tell somebody else. I wish I would. What devil did you sign your life over to that you can't get what you need on account of somebody might go back and say you didn't? Again, that's why your favorites are not welcomed here, because that's not how we move here. We don't bully. We don't intentionally offend. I say intentionally because sometimes I may say something that is completely not offensive to me or anybody else, but I cannot control how a person receives it, and I can't control how they're going to respond to it. So if I say something that is hurtful, let me know so I can apologize, because I need to know that. But we don't bully. We don't intentionally offend. We don't operate through fear. We don't do none of that stuff. That's not love. I'm trying to operate in love. I'm trying to educate in love. I'm trying to correct in love. I'm trying to learn in love. I'm trying to be corrected in love. This is a move. This is what we see on the surface is not all that this is. And that is yet another reason why I had to take some of the things that I want to say out of here, because it doesn't belong in this business, and that's why I'm creating spaces outside of that. But y'all think that I'm saying something on here now, baby. There are some things that I got to tell the people, that I'm going to tell the people, that I'm going to show the people, and they're in decency and order, time and place. But anyway, y'all, I get a little spirited. I just came on here to talk about my first quarter. So coming to find that out, it hurt my heart, because here I am thinking that a couple of things. what is being provided is not what the people need. Trying to understand why nobody's not saying anything. Constantly saying that no question is a dumb question and you're not going to be bullied in here and we're here to help. Only to find out that the people can't speak. It's not that they don't want to. It's not that they don't have to. So now I got to find myself in position. Now, I'm on straight police the group mode. I'm trying to see who gonna come in here. Not allow these people in here because this is who they said got them scared. This is who they said they can't be themselves. But let me tell you something. I found myself policing and being a shield for those who were not a shield for me. Huh? Let me tell you how I found that. So I was doing that. When the revelation came to me, I stopped that. I changed the entry questions. I said, where you come from? Do you plan on being active? Do you agree not to do the fool in here? Because let me tell you, in this first quarter, I had given all that could be given for free. I had knocked the chill off of the map. For now, I had to reconstruct it, but I still had leads coming in. So I said, how about this, Marian? How about you take this service because you don't want to abandon these leads, because the people that you contacting and the people that are contacting you, they still need a dispatcher. So even though nobody has requested their equipment, they are requesting service. Please find me somebody. So I said, since I do the work still, I came to the group. I say, hey, I want to bring this service to the group. I don't quite know how to do it. That's what I said. Because y'all know when I can't formulate the thought right, I was coming and putting it on the table of the group so they could be involved in telling me what they feel was a fair way to do it. You see, I don't do that no more. Because I've learned some things. Huh? Because everything is going to be two things, a lesson or a blessing. It's not going to be negative. It's not going to be, oh, I can't believe. It's going to be a blessing or a lesson. So I say, I don't know quite know how to do it. What I'm thinking of doing is just charging a fee for the service and then just drop the leads in here. Well, it went ham. Look at her. Oh, I knew it wasn't going to be free for long. Oh, she greedy. Oh, how somebody going to be, how somebody pay for a Facebook group? No one heard the word service. No one heard that I was going to be doing the service that I do, which is call these people on the phone all day, get all in their business, and tell them that thank you so much, and I have somebody who's going to call you, and they're going to be able to work with you. I took the whole cold calling, the whole process of asking, can I send you my stuff? I took all of that off. I made sure that they are qualified. They're going to be some money for you. And I was going to come and drop that off in the group. And then you take it, and whoever get it, that'll be your business. But I was going to offer the service, which was my payment. I was going to offer it to the group for $15 a month. Not $50, because I'm not going to designate it like I was doing for the $50, but $15 a month. Because I was still doing the work. You still didn't have to do that. But it was still, this wasn't a free thing. But I want to get you some leads. Now, it was going to be across the board because none of you, let's be for real, none of you were going to be able to say, oh, I don't pay the $15 a month. So when she dropped this lead in here, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to call them. You are a lie. And the truth ain't nowhere in you. If some money come through this room, you gonna be trying to get it. So let's not play that game. So that rolled me, but that showed me that You are valuable for the free that I can get from you and for the income that I'm going to get for your free. But as soon as you want to ask, the nerve of you to ask me for something that you should still be giving me so I can continue to grow my business, so I can continue to make money. This is my first quarter that I'm telling y'all about. And I'm telling y'all about it because you all are going to go. You all are going to grow. You all are going to create something. You all are going to create a space. You all are going, and these are the things that happen in these spaces and places that don't nobody want to tell us when they talk about, come to my master class. Huh? Let's talk about it. Come to my master class. Oh, I'm going to be creating a Zoom meeting and I'm going to be telling you how to make millions. I'm going to tell you how to get money while you sleep. I'm going to tell you, no, I need you to tell me about how long it's going to be before I get a return on that investment. I need you to tell me how many scheming and scamming and people that got away with stuff before you were found out about it. I need you to tell me that part. I need you to tell me how many people told you to kiss they behind. When they didn't get what they thought they was getting. I need you to tell me about how much stock it was. Bitcoin. What? You trying to bite into my coins? Let me tell you something. This is the part that I share with y'all. That's the part I need to know. Huh? Run me your receipts. I don't want to hear that no more because, baby, people can create receipts. Huh? I need you to let me get into position where I can sit where you sitting at. Because when I come in this group, I tell y'all, hey, I'm coming on. I don't sugarcoat it with y'all. I don't keep nothing from y'all because let me tell you, what's going to be mine is going to be mine. When you want more from me, you're going to want more from me. But you got to understand that you're asking for something specific from me because this is something that all of you need to know. When somebody needs something specific from you and they want to take your time away from what you do, and how you do it, they need to be paying you. What I come on here and give y'all for the free, that's a masterclass. Let me tell you what a masterclass is for me. It's knowledge, words, and wisdom from the master. Ha! Ain't it all right? And I give it to y'all with some class about myself. That's a masterclass. Get into it. Huh? Ain't it all right? But this is the thing. I'm about to write that down. Tasha Lynn, go write that down for the group. This is what I'm saying. Information and education should not be a secret. But, not even but, however, comma, I do not have to exhaust myself, exhaust my resources, and do all of these things for you for no compensation. So we got to understand the difference between service, offering services, and being of service. We got to know it. We got to understand it. We got to live in it. Because as I tell the people in the group, I know I say it for sure for the people in class. If you are an independent dispatcher and you looking for your ship to come in, baby, you better keep on looking. However, this is your entry point, and then you are going to scale. And whatever that scale is going to be, it has to, number one, be yours. This is what I say about the people that have come and taken from me and tried to do something that I was doing and were not successful in it. First of all, you didn't have the recipe. Second of all, I'm not the type of person that you can't have what I have. Because let me tell you one thing that I've come to know. Woo! When my neighbor, which is you all, when a blessing is coming in for my neighbor, I know that the blessing is in my neighborhood. Huh? So I need to prepare myself. However, comma, neighbor, what is it that you were doing? This is what I'm trying to do. Can you tell me the steps that you took? Can you listen to my idea? Do you have any input? Is there anything more that I should be doing? Is there anything less that I should be doing? Let's talk about marketing. Okay, what did you read? What did you do? Who did you talk to? Because the people that have came and called themselves taken from me, those little crumbs that you thought you got, you could have got with me. We could have connected, got into a network, and we could have feasted together. We don't have to deal with no crumbs and no scraps. See, we got to come out of that broke mentality. Broke is a mindset, and that employee mentality. When you go get your whatever the state require, LLC, your DBA, whatever the state requires from you, when you go get that, first of all, before you do that, when you decide to do that, you got to have a boss mentality. If you didn't have a boss mentality before you got what the state required, you won't turn into a boss because they put it in black and white. Sometimes I make a little sense. Every now and then, I make just a little bit of sense. So this has been, so that little taking, I'm not one that will harp on it. If you got something and you want to do it better, if I have something that you want or you need, I'm going to say yes or I'm going to say no. I'm going to give you what you should have, but then there's going to be something that you got to pay for. You hear me? Right now, I brought my backpack because I got all of the books and everything that I have in my room, that I have in my front room, that I read on, and I got in every place. I wanted to show y'all how my mindset changed when I really walked into my purpose. Free, low cost, that was cute. Free for me. Low cost for me. Excuse me. But what I realized as I'm growing is when you get free, limited, discount for the low, that's your cap. When you get everything discounted, your business, your next move gonna be discounted. When you get everything for the free, that's all you got. Let me tell you, if some of y'all know me, I loves me some hood literature. You hear me? Hood literature. Hood literature. You hear me? Jessica Watkins, Nene Capri, The Good and Ghetto. You hear me? Nitty Gritty. Stab them, kill them, hump them, kill them, stab them, in whatever order. Get it in, hood fine, sell that dope. Y'all need to move that dope. Well, we hugging the block different now. So I showed y'all my collection. I had all the ghetto books. You hear me? Well, as I've been learning and growing, my books have changed. My books are now all the time. All the time. They in my backpack. I start my day off with the good book. This is a good book. I ain't got me one of the little things in here, so I had to rip off a little package because I was reading something good and I wanted to find my page. So I start off with the good book. Then I get into this here. This is called The Right Planner. Dr. Lee. She one of the people that I know. This is my new one because I'm about to start a new one. In here, Yo, we done capping. In this season, we walking into limitless. This is my new one. I started, but this is my quarterly plans. What am I going to be doing for the next 90 days? This book is for my next 90 days. This is my second quarter book. I got some books in here. I'm reading this one. I got my promise journey. This right here, this tell me what said the folk and what God say about my business. Because see, whatever you believe in, you should be able to bring it into your business. Now, my husband tried to call. I love the Lord. Let me tell you something. I still cuss a little bit. I do. Because every now and then I can't find no other words. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you because I don't want nobody to feel like, oh, she was real spirit. And then one day she had went, She do. Hell, let me tell you something. Even the most saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, inspired, spitting, bitty, can talk in tongue. Let them stub that toe on the side of the bed and see don't they speak a tongue that you know. So I got all of these books, y'all. All of these books. Let me tell you something. Not only do I got the books, this is how I know I've been changed. This is how I know I've been changed. I got the books in my hand. I'm one that's going to go to Amazon somewhere and download me something because I don't want this. But let me tell you something. There's something about putting this information in your hand. When you make it tangible, it gives you and it takes you to a level of accountability that your Kindle don't do. See, in your Kindle, you choose to read. In your hand, you going to. This do something different to you. See this right here? Let me show you something. This is why I'm mindful every day. When I tell y'all that I am here for the box trucks, this is my from the box truck that I told y'all that I made 21 grand in 43 days. I'm writing the book on it right now. It's gonna be an ebook. It's not gonna be long because I never want to be before you long. Sometimes I get a little long-winded. That's how it happened. This is my reminder that I can do all things. You hear me? This is everything I talk to y'all about. I tell y'all. Everybody who in the group, you already know. I don't talk it, teach it, converse about it unless I have experienced and applied it. I only talk and teach to experience and application. I ain't giving you no fluff. You ain't gonna hear me on here teaching y'all about no brokering. Yes, I took a broker class, but I did not apply, so I can't talk about it. Anything you hear me saying talk about, it's what I know. And if it's something that I need to know, I'm gonna go research it, and when you talk to me about it again, I'm gonna know. A whole let me show you something. This used to be my purse. Now it's all books, all journals. See, something happens. That used to be my purse. Here go my book bag, full of notebooks. Something happens when your mind shift changes. And that's what has happened to me in the first quarter. And not only has it changed, it's spring, y'all. Things are reborn, come to life, birthed in spring. I done birthed 3 more things. I have LLC'd my name. Because I don't know where my name gonna go. But I know it's gonna be mine. I'm gonna be in ownership of it. That me. That mine there. That me. My name is a business. Me. Let me tell you something. Don't let nobody tell you nothing about time. You ain't been doing that long enough. You haven't known about that long enough. Whatever is happening to and for you right now in this point, it is time. You have been preparing for this all your life with whatever you did, whatever you doing, whatever you went through, whatever you going through has prepared you for such a time as this. Barefooted or name brand shoes, walk in it. That's it. That's it. That has been my first quarter. Y'all on the page, like the page, and be doing more stuff on the page. If you're not on my page on Facebook, Instagram, you can say that, that's fine. You can go join my page, follow my page on Facebook. It's called Emmteenestlogistics. I got a group. The group is called Dispatch Conversations and Education, where we do more of this. But I just wanted to come on here and talk to everybody today because we all moving and we all doing it. That's right, Tashalyn. When the mind changes, things happen differently. You cry, dismiss things, and folks, the grind is real, and it has become very real. And I'm not gonna let anybody who come under the sound of my voice, I'm not gonna let you be out there. I'm not. But you gotta want it. You gotta want it. Tasha, I got another group that I'm creating. It don't have nothing to do with anything. It won't be, with this. But that's for some people who want some other stuff and about some of the other things I was talking about in here. It ain't gonna be for everybody, and it's okay. This is the thing about me and anything that I'm doing. I know that everything is not gonna be for everybody. I know it, but as I grow and I come into the knowledge and understanding, see, that's when you come into the knowledge and understanding, that's when things get different. That's when you got to start moving different, walking different, talking different, But anyway. This has been a recap of my first quarter. So I started out for the free, requested for the paid, started to understand how things go, got my feelings hurt, things got revealed to me. It's some things that I don't even got to say. People try to take they say what it is. Mocking is the highest form of flattery, anything like that. But let me tell y'all something. So there's a lot of the 5011 groups, right? And I ain't told it to nobody, but I'm going to tell it. Well, I did tell it to my training class yesterday. So, about a month or so ago, I deleted 289 people from out of the group. They were inactive. They weren't doing a thing. You know, some people that got 11,000, 12,000, 15,000 people in their group, they just can't get it right. Well, while they busy watching other people, Facebook busy watching me. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Not the people. The platform of Facebook is watching me. So I'll say this. There's been some changes made to my page, to my business page, and I don't know how to use it. Take that way you want to take it how you want to take it. But that has been my first quarter. This next quarter, I'm telling y'all, get y'all one of these. And if y'all need to know where to find it, I will post it so y'all can talk to her and get y'all a planner. Let me tell y'all about this planner. I think I talked to y'all about it before. But this planner is the truth. This planner is what I need. So it got the quarters lined up, your quarterly plan. And it got, I'll do this side. Your quarterly plan. And it got questions asking you. There you go. Your quarterly plan. And it got your you write down your breakdown on there. And then this is what it impresses me. It got your notes for your notes and your main goals. Right? Your notes and your main goals. I sure will. Now this right here is what do it for me. She got, let me see if Leon here. She got it where you got your daily schedule, right? And she was in nursing, and she do like mental health. So this thing is, she said it delivered her from out of I think she said depression or whatever. This is what she did. She journaled. It got your schedule, what you need to dominate, what you need to delegate. The 3 things that you need to thrive, which is your mental, physical, and your spiritual. And it got on here, you need to sleep. How long did you sleep? Did you drink you some water? How many ounces? Let me tell you something. How many of us need to be documenting this kind of stuff? We do. We do. So I'm going to, and I got 4 of these. I got to get me 3 more. 2 more because these ran out. So my first quarter one is filled and it's done. This one for my second quarter. And let me tell y'all, let me show y'all about the first one. This was the first one. You see how things went for me in the first quarter? This the first one. But this the back of the first one, the red, for the blood. Huh? That's the one that's done. Now I'm going into the second quarter. Never the black. Always, I'm going into the yeah. So I'm going to get that to y'all. And this, let me tell y'all about this. This is one thing about me. She ain't giving me no money. I bought these planners. But I'm only going to tell y'all about stuff that work for me. And I talk about people who talk back to me. People who I can reach out to who will respond. That kind of thing. And I use these. So, that's my first quarter. I just wanted to come on here and talk to y'all about that. I will probably go live in the group later on. I'm not sure if there's anybody who want to talk because, everything can't be on Front Street. But that's it for today. I got a little long-winded, but I just had to tell y'all I wrapped my first quarter up, in an hour and some change. And I appreciate y'all for taking the time out y'all day to listen to me. And thank y'all so much. I think my next live, that's not just a conversation. I think it's going to be a cold call because I see a lot of people need that. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much again, and I will talk to y'all later.